Time to take out the trash and go for my morning walk. I think dawn is upon us. Well, dump that. Welcome everybody once again to my channel, I Stutter. This is where we talk about stuttering, stammering, speech impediments, what have you. This is where I'm gonna share my 45 years of experience of living with a speech impediment, just giving out pointers and tips of things that I kind of found out along the way, things I wish that someone told me when I was 18, 16, 15, so that now you guys don't have to start off life wondering what I was wondering about when I was your age, when you were really young. Or if you have friends with this issue, you know, this channel's for you too. Or if you're just curious for, like, you know, whatever reason, this channel's for you too. So I'm doing my morning walk as I usually do. Dawn is upon us. Go to the track here. Hopefully there's nothing crazy happening on the track this morning. There's always a bunch of weirdos out there. Not all the times, but you know, sometimes. Looks like I'm the only one out here. Nope, there's one person right over there. All right, so what are we gonna talk about today? I wanna say, what I wanna talk about, rather, is that self-awareness is sexy. Okay, this is something that a friend of mine used to say all the time. May he rest in peace. But he used to always say self-awareness is sexy. Knowing yourself, your weaknesses and strengths, what you can and can't do, what you won't do, or what you need to develop, what you need to conquer in your life, and blah, blah, blah. That stuff is sexy, right? He always said that. And I think this also applies to you if you have a speech impediment, okay? I think it applies because what I realized as I was growing up, it did also apply to me. And I just want to touch on that this morning. So, you know, we'll go over a few things I think that you should be aware of, a few things that you should come to grips with, you should accept. And yeah, I'm gonna miss this place because in about a year and a half from now, I'm gonna have to relinquish my apartment so I can move on to bigger things and to better things. But anyway, back to the topic. The first thing that you should accept and be well aware of is accept the fact that you are different. Okay? Just accept it. You're not like anyone else. All right? You are different. Now, I understand that the age that we live in these days, that, you know, people will tell you differently. You're just like, yeah, you're normal like the rest of us, because, you know, that's the politically correct thing to say, I guess, that you're you're like everybody else. No, you're not. Okay, you gotta accept it. I think it's very important that you accept it, because if you accept it, then you can go through life playing by certain rules. I think that will set you up for success, because every time that you think that you're like the next guy or gal who's fluent, I'm telling you, you're gonna fall flat on your face. Okay, because society will always remind you, okay, when your speech fails you in public, society is going to remind you that you're not like the rest of it. Because I think it's like 1% of the population here in this country, as in the US, has some kind of a problem with their speech, right? I think that's the stat. So in that regard, you're not the same. Accept it, so that you can live by certain rules that will set you up for success by understanding that you're different. That's the one thing that I think you should be aware of and come to grips with. Because growing up, I kind of went through this phase when I was trying to fit in, especially in like junior high school and stuff. You're trying to fit in. And I would fall flat on my face whenever my speech would fail me in social settings. Society would remind me I'm not like the rest. So when I think when I turned 18 was when I just said to myself, you know what? I'm different, and that's okay. And since I accepted that, it's like a huge weight lifted off my shoulders, and I was able to function better and feel much better about myself when I accepted the fact that I'm different, at least in that regard. And it's okay. You just have to live and coexist with others under a different set of rules. So this is the first thing I think that people with a speech impediment, just like me, need to come to grips with. Okay, when you speak and you have issues, don't try to pretend that you got a cold or you have a sore throat or you start to cough. Try to mask your speech problem. You're different. Deal with it. Next, the world will treat you differently. And I think I touched base a little bit on that. And I just have to reiterate it. The world will treat you differently. And as a result, you will see a very different world than someone who's fluent will see. Just for the same reason, if somebody is an amputee, let's say somebody lost all of their limbs, both arms and both legs, they will see a different side of society than you will, because you have your limbs. If somebody, Lord forbid, had like a bad accident and they have third-degree burns or second-degree burns in most of their bodies, they will experience a different side of society. If you're a different nationality or different race, or if you're, I don't know, if you're a white person who lives in some Central African country where most people are black, you're gonna experience a different kind of environment because of the difference that you have from the larger population. Is just the way that life rolls, right? So, which is not in itself not necessarily something that's bad as far as I'm concerned, but just understand, as a person with a speech impediment, you're not gonna experience the world and see the world the same as somebody who's fluent. You're gonna see the side of people, especially when your speech fails you immediately, compared to someone who's fluent, where that some people around them might mask who they really are. Like you can spot a jerk very fast. I like to refer to my speech impediment as jerk radar, because when your speech fails you in public around people, you're gonna see who the jerk is, and we are gonna talk about that in a future video, because I learned of a way to take care of that. Yeah, so accept that. I think that's the second thing that you must accept, and the quicker that you accept these things, the easier life will be for you, I think, as you're going through life with your speech impediment. Nice colors. I like the colors. Very nice. The orange, the yellow, the red. Really cool. All right. You should be aware of who you're choosing as a friend. I think especially if you're in high school or below, in that phase of your life. Well, actually, your entire life. Of course, that goes into other stuff, but just be aware. Pick your friends wisely. Be aware of who your friends are. Okay? Me, I always, before I call somebody a friend or certain things I do, first of all, I like to be around you with other people somewhere in a public. I like to stand back and study you, put you through some character tests to see if you're the kind of person that I need to be around me. Just be aware of who you're choosing, okay? Because you don't want to be in a position where you thought somebody was your friend until your speech fails you in public. That could be a very traumatic thing that can stick with you for a long time, and that can impair you socially. So, which all these things will tie in together. Like as far as the things I'm saying to be well aware of. So yeah, choosing your friends, you should be very aware of who your friends are, I think, which I think falls into self-aware, because you know who you are, so therefore you know who would be a good friend to you, and probably who would most likely not be one. Whew, it is one long lap, 5 more to go. So last but not least, know your stutter. One thing I realize is no two stutters stutter at the same frequency, have the same triggers, have the same tendencies, struggle on the same vowels, consonants, words, phrases. It varies from people to people. Okay, I'm sure there might be two people out there who are very, very similar to each other in terms of triggers and stuff like that, but it's very different. Which that we will come back to this when we talk about speech therapy. We will revisit this at some point. Triggers. What triggers your stutter? Is it social? Is it certain activities per se? Do you get tense? As in, does your heart rate rise? Is it reading? Is it introducing yourself? Is it talking in general? Do you stutter when you speak by yourself? Do you have any periods of where you're fluent? Okay, whether you're in public or in private. Okay, those are things that you need to be aware of, because for example, if you're fluent when you're by yourself, if you try to have a conversation by yourself in your place, right, and there's no one there, and you're fluent, it's good to be aware of that, because that shows, okay, so there is no kind of brain trauma that makes you talk the way you talk, right? Because you do have fluency, things is just an impediment. It's not per se something that's like deeper, like that's within your brain, or you know, some kind of a brain damage that you have, because you can speak fluently. It's just certain things cause you to become disfluent. So it's good to be aware of these things. Okay, you'd be surprised how many, like, you know, stutters that I've met and who don't know these things. You need to be aware of your triggers. Is it, for example, you know, reading? Like if, like, you know, reading in public is your thing that just triggers you, then it's good to know, because eventually if you're out there, okay, in school, or have, you know, a job maybe, or probably have a corporate job, you're going to end up reading something in public. So when you know this is your trigger, prior to you reading in public, that can help you to prepare, so that when it's time to read, one of two things will happen, where that you will either read fluently, or if you stutter, I'm trying to remember the phrase or the word. If you stutter, you will stutter, but yet be in command of your stuttering. There's an actual word for that. I can't recall it right now. It's early. It's because it's early in the morning. Dawn is upon us. Please bear with me. But there's a big difference when you are just you know, stuttering without any kind of control. Oh yes, got it. It's called stutter in control. It's called controlled stuttering. So that's the two things that will happen. You will either read fluently, or you will stutter in control, and we will go over that in a future video. So be aware of your triggers. Find out what condition makes you more fluent, which ones make you less fluent. And this will come in handy when it's time for you to do speech therapy or start to deal with your speech impediment. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop the video right here. I hope you guys are going to have a great day today. Go out there, crush it. Your speech does not have to define you. Okay, don't think that because you have this problem that you're doomed for failure. Okay, because I'm out here. I've built a career already for 22 years, going on 23, and I'm going to retire from that soon and start a brand new path. So you can do it. So see you in the next one. And dawn is upon us. Dawn is upon us.